Eric joined Ina on the roof, which could be accessed through Ina's bedroom. They sat side by side as they gazed at the full moon. Eric took a swig of Ina's beer. What the? Ina shot Eric a look of fury. You know you're not supposed to drink, Eric snapped. You still have to go out. Have to go out? Ina stared at him, smiling in sarcasm. Yeah, you have to go out to fulfill your needs, Eric said, rolling his eyes and took another gulp of beer. Ina scoffed, nudging his arm, causing some beer to spill from his mouth. Eric spat profanity, glaring at Ina, who was laughing hysterically. He gestured like he was about to throw the bottle to her face, which made her laugh more. Irita, he muttered, and drank from the bottle again, this time in caution. Hey, have you done our physics homework? Ina asked, which prompted Eric to raise his eyebrows. Your copy is on your table, he said. Ina squealed, shaking Eric's shoulders, thanking him. He rolled his eyes and gave her a head to toe look. Noisy bit. Ina laughed, playfully pushing his shoulders. Eric gave her the bottle, which she defiantly and verbally declined in disgust. Eric was her closest friend, but that did not mean they had to taste the other's saliva from the bottle. He rolled his eyes again, finishing the bottle's remaining content. He looked at his watch. Is it time? I'm really sleepy, he asked. In a few minutes, Ina replied. For a moment, they watched the full moon at its peak. I told him, Eric broke the silence. Ina widened her eyes at him. It was an expression of shock, curiosity, and amazement. She egged on him to spill the tea. I told him what I saw, that he was with a girl. Eric continued. That girl from nursing. He just looked down, unable to say anything. He shrugged his shoulders, trying not to sound and look affected. To be honest, it didn't hurt that much. I think it would hurt more if he's with another guy or gay. Ina rolled her eyes and scoffed at her friend's opinion. Don't you get it? He's just using you. Eric knew that, but he tried to dismiss the hurtful truth by throwing his arms in the air. He wished it would be that easy to throw all the hurt in the air and be okay. It's hard, Ina. I mean, I love him. Ina looked away. Bobo. Stupid. And so are you, Eric retaliated. I think it's forgivable to be stupid in studies than to be stupid in love. Eric stared at Ina, visibly irritated at her anecdote. My God, Ina. I hope you won't bear children because they will be stupid like you. Ina snorted and started laughing her heart out. So, no breakup? She asked. Eric shook his head quietly while his eyes rested on the roofs of the neighborhood. Ina shook her head, disappointed and annoyed. Hey, Eric, I've been thinking. I'm getting tired of this already. I want to go back to Sikihor and meet the Mambabarang. Eric agreed and said it was a good idea. But you know it's not going to be that easy, he said. I get that, Ina replied. nodding her head as she stared at the horizon. But you see, I want a normal life, like a normal college student. I want to sleep at night and not during our classes in the morning. I want to go out and party at night. Besides, I'm sure I want to get married in the future. And I don't want my husband to be looking for me just because I was out in the middle of the night fulfilling my needs. Eric nodded. I'll go with you, he said, but you have to shoulder my airline ticket. Round trip. Ina snorted. Are you kidding me? I'm hard up in saving for my round trip ticket, and here you are demanding that I'll pay yours? You know that you can't go there alone, Bobo. Irita, Ina fired back. They were exchanging derogatory remarks, which was their normal banter. Manananggal na hilaw, Eric said. Authentic manananggal, said Ina. Excuse me, Eric retorted. I wasn't the stupid one who drank that juice offered by a stranger. Well, I didn't know, Ina barked back. Eric shook his head. He sighed in relief when he looked at his watch. Thank goodness it's time for you to go. Ina breathed out wearily. She stood up and stretched her arms. On cue, Eric slipped inside through Ina's bedroom window and closed it. He sat on Ina's bed, turning the pages of a showbiz magazine. Ina was left on the roof. She was on her final stretches when she felt nauseous. She felt like throwing up. And then fangs emerged from her mouth instead of bile. Her eyes grew wide and red as she stared at the full moon, which gave her more power to transform. Her chest was heaving until a pair of leathery wings emanated from her back, ripping her red shirt. She growled, calling out to the full moon to complete the dosage of her transformation. Finally, she gave out a dry, throaty whimper. Her upper torso left the lower part of her body on the roof. She flew around town, searching for prey. Her huge bat-like wings flapped in the wary, sleepy town. Meanwhile, Eric found the latest juicy news about a young actor who got one of his co-stars pregnant. Eric found the news interesting because he had a huge crush on this actor. The electric fan sounded like its oscillator shaft was getting rusty. Eric made a mental note that he would remind Ina to buy a new fan. From a distance, a man and a woman had a duet, screaming in pain and agony. Eric sighed in apathy and said, Show off.